that's before you this evening to work with bond counsel to get the necessary legal documents in place, to put together the offering document and go to the rating agencies and get a rating in place, and then to disseminate all that information out to the market, so on a certain date that's chosen by the city, the bonds bidders can come in and bid at your bonds on competitive public sale. Morgan Keegan will not be bidding on those bonds because we're your financial advisor. We will just be soliciting proposals from institutions all over the United States.
And it's very possible that we could get a rate less than 3%. So, the way it was handled last time, we did it.
What about the other 5 million? I'm probably jumping ahead, but
Yes,
it says 26 million, we're borrowing 31 million,
right.
right?
This, if you're on page 3, this is just a sewer fund. Okay?
Okay.
So if you jump over to page 5, this is then the stormwater section of the financing analysis. Currently, your stormwater debt is minimal. It's $78,000 if you'll see on page 5. And I won't even have you spend any time on the graph because it's basically non-existent. So if you go to page 7, this is the $5 million stormwater structure of the $31 million total bond issue. Much like the sewer portion, it's also 25 years level principal. If you look on the left-hand column under principal, about $210,000, $205,000 a year, each and every year over the next 25 years, for a total of $5 million. There again, the interest rates very, very similar to what you just saw because they would be sold in conjunction with the bigger piece as a single issue. And then your total principal and interest starts at about $338,000 per year, drops down to $208,000 based on these interest rates. You add it into your $4,500 a year in your existing debt, and you can see your new debt service for the stormwater portion of the transaction.
What is the total payout over 25 years on the 31 million? Do you have a figure?
Yes, sir. That would be the combination of page 3 and page 7. So total of about $43 million, 31 of which is principal, the other 12 would be interest.
Thank you.
Does that answer your question?
It does.
Okay.
We will be able to service stormwater with current stormwater rates.
Yes, that's correct. The rates you have in place now with both sewer and stormwater should be adequate to service this debt.
Then I'd also like to call your attention, council, to on the back page, on page 9, this is the estimated sources and uses of funds. It's broken out between the 26 million stormwater, sewer piece, and the 5 million stormwater piece. The estimated underwriter's discount that bidders may take at a competitive public sale. There again, it may be more, it may be less. Cost of issuance, which would include all other parts of the financing, financial advisory, rating, bond counsel, printing, trustee, official statement, distribution, and things like that. So there's a net of about $25,770,000 that would be available in the construction fund for the sewer, $4,955,000 for the stormwater. Those dollars could go up or down somewhat depending upon also how the bidders bid at the public sale. Sometimes they bid premiums for the bonds or take more or less discount. What you're really interested in is the bidder gives you what we call the lowest true interest rate, which takes into account the coupons or the interest rates on the bonds as well as any underwriter's discount or premium.
Joe, if you will, talk for just a minute about the benefits of rolling the $5 million stormwater into the larger bond issue and the impact that will have.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Cox. Typically, issuers are going to get better execution in the bond market if you have maturities that are block sizes of $1 million or more. Obviously, if you're on page 3, you can see that happens with a $26 million issue for the sewer. But if you look on page 7 for the stormwater, because it's only a $5 million issue amortizing over 25 years, each maturity is only about a couple $100,000. So if we sell these as a single $31 million issue, then you're going to have about 1.2 to 1.3 million of maturities in each and every year, and so you'll get better execution as it relates to having a block size of $1 million or more. Internally, they will be bifurcated. In the resolution, it says that portion of the bonds being used for sewer will be retired with sewer revenue, stormwater with stormwater revenue. But if you just kind of think about it, if somebody's out there, you can pick an institutional purchaser and they buy the 15-year maturity and it's $1.2 million, and 3-4 years from now they want to liquidate or sell it, you're gonna get better execution in the secondary market, having a block of at least $1 million to sell versus 200,000, 400,000, things like that. So it provides better liquidity for your bond, and when you have better liquidity after the fact, after people have committed their capital, their money, whether it's an individual or institution, they're usually willing to bid more aggressively on the front end.
Tony, is there anything else you would like him to have upon? Are there any questions,
Mayor,
council?
if it's the pleasure of the council, then the initial resolution would need to be adopted first, and then the detailed resolution as it's listed under each.
That's two separate resolutions.
Yes.
First one will be 612, and then we'll get the number on the second one.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
As you pointed out, Mr. Ayers, we have historically budgeted 5% to cover the potential there. And what you're quoting for us here is based upon fixed rate, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, if we were able to find or someone bid on it at a variable rate with options, I mean, that's up to council to make a decision on how we do that, or what we accept. Is that right? Or is this going to go to market saying we only want fixed rate?
Well, this resolution only authorizes fixed rate financing. This council has the prerogative, if you want, to do variable rate financing like you have in the past from time to time. This particular recommendation coming from staff and from us right now is to go into the fixed rate market for the reasons we discussed.
The only reason I bring that up is because, Tony, the bond fund has now come up with a variable rate, 10 years, but after 4 years, you can renegotiate that without any penalties and go to fixed rate if you would like. And right now, I think it's 0.06 at that, that's the rate of the interest now on variable. So I don't know.
The .06 you're probably referring to, Ms. Censor, is the underlying variable rate bonds. It's probably more like 0.15 in today's market, sitting with a high quality tax floating rate index has gone up a little bit. That's the pure underlying variable rate bond. On top of that, you have to add the credit enhancement cost and remarketing and other things like that. But even in today's market, those numbers are very, very low, probably in the all-in cost of money of 0.9 to 1.3% depending upon your credit. So I mean, that is very attractive, and you're benefiting from that in part of your portfolio. But the real question is the appropriateness of putting all your eggs in one basket. And if you can lock in these low long-term fixed rates today, is that a more prudent thing to do versus being more heavily in the variable market? And that's certainly your alternative.
10 years down the road, it can go up if it's fixed.
It cannot go up. And thank you for asking that question, because one thing I did fail to mention, in your fixed rate bond resolution that's before you, you all have the option, not a requirement, but the option to refund or redeem those bonds after 10 years. So if we get 10 years down the road and fixed interest rates are at 6, you don't do anything. You just keep your 3% money and be thankful you sold bonds at low rates back in 2012. But if we get 10 years down the road and fixed interest rates are 2 and you're paying 3, you got the option to call those bonds again away from the bondholder and refinance them just like you would on a home mortgage.
What would the cost be on it? It would be associated with that at that time, correct?
Sure.
Right, which is the other. This is our first time to do something with our new debt policy, and I'm glad you clarified that, and it's because I'm new in our debt policy, because you are our financial advisor, you cannot bid
That's correct.
on this. And I just wanted, because when you look at this document, it's a very impressive document, and it certainly gives the history of our financial health, very definitely. I would like for us to, in the future, be sure to maybe have a conversation that might involve that, because I think we're pretty much, it looks like we're pretty much at that point. Is that right, Tony, that?
We've been trying to accelerate this program in order to meet the schedule for getting the improvements done. So we urged Morgan Keegan to accelerate trying to get us to the point where we can bid the bonds and close as rapidly as possible, these projects completed. It is the recommendation of staff. Mr. Clark and I looked at our portfolio, and we are heavily on variable rate. We feel much more comfortable with this issue to look at this.
Well, I think any entity would like to bid variable or fixed. I was just looking for the best way that we could save money for a period of time. But if this is staff's recommendation, you know, I'm sure those entities would be glad to bid on that too. Thank you.
Tony, is the variable rate that we have now something like 80% of our debt?
Do you guys know the percentage of our portfolio is variable? It's in excess of 80%.
Yeah, it differs by the different enterprise funds. The one of the analysis we viewed, Mr. Cox and Mr. Clark, was the different percentages of the ratios in each of those enterprise funds. And that partly led to the decision by staff to recommend to you all fixed rate because of the heavy nature of the existing variable rate portfolio, as well as the low level of fixed interest rates in today's market and the accelerated need to comply with the court order to go ahead and go to the bond market.
And we have, as council, been discussing that very fact for some period of time, because we felt like we was over our head and not having enough fixed rate. So the opportune time is looks like a good time to bring it back into something.
Right, and next time you have capital needs, part of that analysis would be, well, okay, back in 2012, you added 31 million fixed rate to your portfolio. How's it look now compared to fixed and variable? And then that would enter into the decision making of your staff to make recommendations to this body.
You explained one time already, you explained this variable rate debt budgeted at 5%, but it didn't sink in with me. Explain that again, please.
Because variable rates are what they say they are, they vary.
Right.
You know, they change on a daily or weekly basis. If you look down on page 1, you'll notice that you have, of this $32 million, there's probably 15, roughly half of it, maybe give or take, it's variable, okay? So in order to make sure you budget enough money in your annual budget for debt service in this particular fund, staff historically has asked us or others to run your variable rate debt at 5%. I'm happy to report that variable is substantially lower than 5%, just like fixed rates are lower than 5%. So when you get to the end of each one of these fiscal years, assuming rates stay lower, you will not actually pay that much in interest, you will pay less.
This is our existing variable rate?
Yes, yes.
No, the point, the 5% is not our existing variable rate, that's what we're budgeting.
But yeah,
On your existing bill, that's
Right.
correct, that's
the
correct.
issue then.
And today, you're probably paying in the 1% range, give or take, based on the credit enhancement cost on top of the variable rate in the Central Commission.
So they're figuring a worst case scenario of 5.
Yes, sir. Yes. Typically, the rating agencies like to see you budget substantially above where those variable rates are, so that if there's some type of economic crisis or banking crisis or shock to the system, like we experienced 4 years ago, you're financially able to handle it.
Are there any other questions by council?
Good report.
Thank you so much. All right, this time, the chair will entertain a motion for resolution number 06-12, initial resolution authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $31 million general obligation bond for the city of Morristown.
Take that motion.
We have a motion by Councilmember LaBelle. Do we have a second? We have a second by Councilmember Bivens. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, please enter your vote. Six yeas, one abstain. Resolution passed. Next item to come before council will be resolution number
07-12.
Resolution 07-12, it's a resolution authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $31 million in aggregate principal amount of general obligation bonds in the city of Morristown, making provision for the issuance, sale, and payment of said bonds, establishing the terms thereof, and the disposition of proceeds therefrom, and providing for the levy of taxes for the payment of principal or premium, if any, and interest on the bonds. As the city administrator used to.
Just underscore that this resolution is prepared by our bond counsel, Mr. Mamenkov. It's known as the detailed resolution we recommend for
This time, Chair will entertain a motion to adopt this resolution
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion from Councilmember Lavelle. Do we have a second? We have a second from Councilmember Bivens. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, would you consider your vote? Chief. We have 6 yeas, 1 abstention. Resolution passes on final reading. Next item to come before council, awarding of bid and contracts, 9B. This is to award a change in the contract price performance contract incorporated for the wastewater system rehabilitation program, Spring Creek Sewer Basin, Gravity Sewer Line Closed Circuit, Television Inspection, and Cleaning Project in the amount of $15,155.51, bringing the total contract price to $595,818.01. The city administrator wish to expound.
This is a change order to an existing contract. This contractor is working in town already, running cameras through our sewer lines. We've asked him to investigate a few other areas where we're having problems finding some manholes. That's the reason to add to this contract. It remains under budget. We recommend approval.
Move for adoption.
All right, we have a motion for adoption. No, there was no questions, I'm assuming, to Tony. Have a motion by Councilmember Center. Is there a second? We have a second by Councilmember Lavelle. Is there any discussion by council? Hearing none, please enter your vote. Seven yeas, no nays. Tony, is this where we put 9B in?
We put it in number 3.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I got you. All right, we have number 2 is to award agreement amendment with Lamar Dunn Associates for SRF. Could the city administrator like to expound?
This has to do with work that Lamar Dunn and Associates did with us under the SRF loan. This investigative work that we're trying to close out the loan. When the folks in Nashville, TDEC, started reviewing our paperwork, they found that one line item for investigation was high and one was low. In order to meet their budget and close out the loan, we need to change the contract, moving money from one line to another. It does not change the bottom line. We would recommend approval so we can move forward and close out this loan.
Are there any questions of the city administrator by council? This time, Chair, entertain a motion to award agreement amendment with Lamar Dunn Associates for the SRF.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion by Councilmember Bivens. Do we have a second? We have a second by Councilmember Center. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, please enter your vote. Next item to come before council is City Council's consideration of Mayor Thomas's nomination to Morristown Utility Commission.
We added the item number 3.
Oh, sorry, I passed it right up because it's not on there.
That's right. This is a award of a bid for construction work for expansion of Molly Industries. Mr. Umberger's here to explain the bid process in terms of the analysis we've done here, and has some material handout to explain what we've done. But, this has previously come before council as a fast-track grant which is approved. It's been awarded by the state, and we're trying to allow our industry to expand.
Mayor Thomas, members of council, Mr. Cox, I want to thank you for allowing us to present this to you this evening. My name is Chris Umberger. I'm with Barge-Wagner Sumner Cannon. We've been working with Molly Automotive Components USA for several months now to bring the project to core. I was here in July to present to you a project that they had planned for expansion of their facilities in Morristown and to add new equipment and add employees. You agreed to allow us to pursue that with the state economic and community development under their fast track program. As Ms. Cox says, that funding was approved. We have since developed the design for the site preparation for them to expand their facilities. And they have committed under this program